Hi everybody, welcome back to the BizTech Academy's Excel Beginners course. Today we're going to look at Lesson 5, and Lesson 5 is all about formatting your workbook. We're going to focus on our project, Tokyo Ink, and we're going to make the analysis we've done as pretty as possible and ready for printing and sharing. Of course, if you like the video, it would be great if you could give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and press the alert button for new videos. But in the meantime, let's crack on. Okay, so here we are. We've opened up our Tokyo Ink project, as you can see in the top middle, Tokyo Ink. And we're now going to start the formatting exercise. For those of you who want to follow along, in the walkthrough document, this is section 8. The whole of section 8 is dedicated to formatting, and we will basically follow the step-by-step guide in the walkthrough in section 8. So by all means, if you have it, use that. If you want to have access to it, it's in the description below, or you'll find it on our website, BizTech-Academy.com. Okay, so without further ado, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the project or add to the project an overall title. So above where it says markup in cell C1, A1, sorry, what we're going to do is add two rows. So if you remember rightly, to add a row, you can either click on the row you want to, where you want the insert to happen, click it twice, or you can highlight it, two rows and click it once. So what we'll do here is highlight rows 1 and 2, and then we go to the insert icon at the top here, and we press insert, and as you can see, it's inserted 2 rows just above our analysis. You can also see that we're now sort of encroaching right at the bottom of the spreadsheet, so I will use the zoom bar just here at the bottom, and I'll just make it slightly smaller so that we can see the analysis. Okay, the title we're going to use here is Tokyo Ink, and then dash sales projection and 2023. Okay, that's what we're going to do there. And now we've added the title, but it doesn't look any good really, to be honest with you. It's right in the top left-hand corner. It doesn't really attack itself to the whole of the spreadsheet. So what we want to do with this title is we want to make it sit in the middle of all of these cells, so it looks like it's covering the whole of the analysis and looks like a heading. To do that, what we need to do is we need to what's called merge the cells. So the columns A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J cover the whole analysis. We want Tokyo Ink to sit somewhere here, somewhere around E and F. So what you do is you take the title here, and then you click on it, and you drag the range to where you want it to be centered. And then, as you can see in the home ribbon, there is an action called merge and center. If you press merge and center, it takes it straight into that cell. As you can see, it makes all of those cells one large cell, and it centers the content of that cell. And that's what we want to do here, so that we can see the title above all of the analysis. Now, what we also want to do is make this a little bit prettier. So what we'll do is we'll change. I'm quite happy with the fonts. The font is Calibri body, and that's okay. I'd like it a little bit bigger. So we go to the font size here, and we click on the down arrow, and I think we'll make it 20. So as you can see, you make it 20. It makes it a larger font. It makes the row itself longer to fit it in, and it just now looks a little bit more like a title. I think we'll also make it bold, which makes it a little bit better, and that looks okay. Just for note, just for information, in this little area here, what you can do is you can change the color of the background of the cells. You can change the color of the font, and we'll do some of this in a moment. So I won't go through it in detail now. But you could have also made it italics if you wanted to. We cannot Control Z to get rid of that. You could underline it if you wanted to, but I don't want to do that at the moment. We're okay at the moment with bold and font size 20. Okay, that looks a bit better, which is great. Okay, what we'll also do as well here is we'll look at the headings, the heading of the column. So we've got product ID, product description, and so on. I think we'd like to have those bold. So we'll highlight the whole lot just as a range, and we press bold, and it does it all in one go. Again, I'm just going to undo that. Of course, what we could have done is just gone 1 cell and bold, 2 cell and bold, and so on. But actually, we just want the whole lot, so you just highlight everything you want to do in one go and just press bold. Okay, that's great. What we'll also do is the totals at the bottom. I think we want those to stand out as well. So we'll make those bold, because we know that they're slightly different numbers and they mean something at the bottom of the area. What I think we also need to do is probably add a totals description or title here, and we'll also make that bold. Okay, just drag the sheet down so we're seeing the title. And now I think we're getting somewhere. We've got all the headings in bold, we've got the title added, and we've also got the totals at the bottom in bold. So that sort of stands out a little bit, which is good. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to look at the numbers themselves. As we know, product cost, markup, total unit price, shipping cost, total price, total monthly sales, total annual sales. So basically everything apart from volume here is a financial number. It's a currency. The currency we're using here is US dollars. So it would be great if we could have a currency sign on all of these numbers. So it just makes it look a little bit better. So what you can do here is you click on just one cell. Here we're clicking on the first number, so C6, which is the product cost for the sushi rice small. And you can go up to here, this little box here in the home ribbon, and you could choose a format. So for example here, there's a list of different number formats, and you can see it gives you an example of what they look like here. There's a currency, there's accounting, and so on. And there's dates, there's percentages, there's fractions. And if you click on more number formats, there's actually a number, and you can even do some customization here as well. We're not going into that in detail today. We're just going to use a standard, what's called an accountancy format, and that's already listed as a button here. As you can see, accountancy number format, you could drop down and you can see there's a pound sign, there's a euro sign, the US sign, Singapore. I just happen to be in Singapore, and that's why that's showing there. But actually we want to use US dollar. And we know that's the default one here if we could click this button. So again, we'll close that menu. We're staying on cell C6, and we're going to click on the dollar. And then you can see it takes that dollar, it takes that number 10 and makes it look more presentable as a currency, as a financial number, $10. It automatically gives 2 decimal places, which is fine for currency. We could change that if we wanted to. There's 2 buttons here which basically add and take away decimals. If we use the right hand one, you can see here we can decrease the decimals. In fact, we can make them 0 if you want. Or if you take the left hand one, which is increased decimals, you can add as many as you want. We actually only want 2, so we'll go back to our original 2, and it's good. Now the problem is that that's okay. What we don't really want to do is have to go through every single one and go there and click it and so on. It gets a bit laborious and tiresome. So what will be great is if we could copy that. But we know full well that if we copy that cell, and I'm just going to do a Control or Command C here to copy it, I'm going to go to the next cell and I'm going to do a Command or Control V. It's actually going to give me the same number 10, but the cost for sushi rice large isn't 10, it's 20. I'll undo that. So what we actually want to do is copy the format and not the content. And Excel, clever as it is, allows us to do that. We click on the cell that we want to, or the format we want to copy. And in the almost top left, you can see there's a little paintbrush here, which is called format. And if you hover over it, it says copy formatting from one location and apply it to another. Okay, so let's try that. So we click on that, and then we click on 20. And it does it. It automatically changes it to that format, which is fantastic. Okay, let's try it on 30. Oh, it's not doing it anymore. It's only doing it one at a time. Okay, so let's click on 20 again. Let's click on format. Let's click on 30. Okay, great. Okay, we could click on format again. Click on 8. Oh, great. But that's going to take ages. You know, we've got the whole of these columns to do. So what you can actually do is click on it twice. Click format twice. So double click. Right, and then what it allows you to do is to keep the paintbrush. And as you can see, the cursor is turned to a paintbrush, and you can click on each cell one by one. But more than that, you can click on arrange. Right, so I want all of those numbers to have dollar signs. So I click on that, and it changes it. The markup, I want all of this to be dollar signs, so I'll highlight that. And that changes it. Oh, great. I want the total price to be dollar signs, but I also want the unit price, that is, sorry, but I also want the shipping cost and the total price. So actually I could highlight all of that. That's great. Okay, and then I'll do total sales and annual sales. Right, remembering to go down all the way down to the bottom where the totals are. Okay, so what's happened here? Well, you can see that we've changed the formats to everything, but the columns are not big enough to hold the additional decimal places. So we know what to do here. We just want to increase the width of the columns to fit the data that we have in there. We've done that in previous lessons. So you hover above into the middle of the columns you want to increase, double click, and then it increased it. Same as column J here, do it between J and K, double click, and away you go. Now you can see the cursor here is still a paintbrush, which means if we tick on any other cell, it will change the format again. So what we need to do is turn the copy formatting off, and we just go back to where the format button is here. We press it, and that stops it. And now we're back to our normal cursor. So that's great. We've got everything here in decimal place, in currency that we need to. The volume stays as a unit, and everything else is perfect. The only thing that we've done here, though, if you notice, on the totals down here, right, the bold has gone, and the reason is because this format we copied here wasn't bolded, so it removed the bold that we previously put on here. So we need to add that back in. So we just highlight the range, just the two cells, go back to the bold button, press it, and there's bold. And then what we have here now then is analysis that shows the right format for the numbers that we have in the cells, which is fantastic. And that's exactly what we were looking for. And we've also right-sized the columns. We've got rid of all of that, and everything looks good. What would be really nice now, though, I think, is to add some color, make this a little bit more stand out and pretty. So we'll start with the title. What we'll do here, we go back up to this formatting area in the home ribbon, right? And you can see there's a couple of colors here. One here is fill color, and one here is font color. Now, we don't want to change the fonts at the moment. We might change some in a moment, but not right now. But we do want to change the background color of some of the cells. So we've hovered on this large cell that we've merged earlier on. We'll now click onto the color menu, and you can see you can choose whatever color you want. There is a list of colors here, but you can also go to more colors, and there's many different formats here that you can choose. I mean, anything within the spectrum you can choose. What I actually want is just a sort of basic shade of blue. So I'm going to hover it down, and I'm going to go to the third blue here, and I'm going to background that. That looks okay. I'm happy with that. Okay. So let's look at markup. We'll make that a lighter blue. So we hover the two cells, we go down, and we'll make that maybe the first blue. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. The only thing is that 0.5 there, 0.5, which we know is a percentage, it would be good to show that as a percentage, not just as the 0.5. Okay, so what you do is you go back up to this formatting area here. You can see next to the dollar sign, the currency, there's an account, there's a percentage style. Just click on that, and as you can see, it changes to 50%. It now looks a little bit more professional. Okay, so now we'll look at the heading row, sorry, and we'll highlight all of that. I think we'll want that maybe a different blue, maybe in between these two. And we used this one down here for the title. We used this one up here for the markup. So let's use the middle one. Yeah, that looks okay. Okay, great. Now what will be really good is if we sort of have every alternate row here as a different blue. Just makes it stand out again. We don't want it the same shade as the blue as the titles, because that would look a little bit odd. But it might be good the same one as the markup. So if we take row 7, where product ID is A002 is, we can highlight all of that. And again, we can just go back to our colors. We'll choose the middle blue. We'll choose the light blue again. Click on that, and that looks good. Okay, great. We can do that with every alternate one. We'll do it again. And we go to our colors, which has already been selected here, and we click it, and there you go. Now, the only thing is why do we want to do that all the way? All we want to do here is copy the formats, right? So let's just go back to our format copier, double click on it, go to every alternate cell, and as you can see, as I'm clicking down, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20, turn off the format copying, and it's done it. It's given me all the formats I want, really quick and easy, which is really, really useful. What we'll do with the totals, though, I think we'll put these in a darker blue, just to make them even highlight more, because this is really what the analysis is about. So we'll go maybe down to one of these really darker blues. Well, I like the blue, but of course I can't see the numbers. That's no good to me. I know what we could do. If we go back and highlight it, and go back to, instead of doing the fill, actually do the font color, and we click on that, give us a drop-down menu. Again, we could choose any color we wanted to, but let's choose white, and that looks a lot better. Now it stands out. Actually, that looks okay, right? I like that. Okay, the only thing I would like to add now, though, is to add some borders. You know, add a frame around it. That would look really, really nice. Now, because this particular analysis, as you can see, everything I'm going to highlight here is not a perfect square. We've got this little section down here that has nothing in. It's not as simple as just going in and completing the square. We have to be a little bit clever here. So we'll do this one by one, and I think how I like to do things, again, it's all subjective. You can certainly use different borders if you want. This is just the way I tend to do it. I'm going to first of all, I want to put a hard line below all the headings. So again, I highlight all the headings, and I want a hard line just between rows 5 and 6. And there's a little box here, which is called well, it's called borders, but it just shows different borders. So if you click on it, you can see there's many different borders. And here I just want a bottom border below that. So I click on that, and if I move away from what I've highlighted, you can see here, if you look closely, that there is a border now at the bottom of here, and that just breaks the headings up with the numbers. What would be really nice now, though, is to as well as the bottom border, is to have lines splitting each column up. So we've got lines splitting up all of these areas. What I'm going to do here, because you could, I want this edge here to be as a border. So what I could do, I could just go on here, I could find right border, click on it, move away, and you can see here there's a border all the way down. You could do it again, and you could just stick on the right border, sorry, and do that again, and you could do it again, and so on. There is an easier way, though, because you're doing the same format across all areas. Now, you don't want to copy every single format, because you know some of these numbers are not dollars. But what you could do is you could highlight the range you want the right border in, and then use your command or your control, depending on if you're on a Windows or a Mac, and then click on the top and highlight it again, and keep your finger on the control or command, and then it then shades a number of different ranges. So you're doing multiple ranges here, not just one range. So we do this again, and we do this again, and then we press the right border, sorry, and you can see then we have right borders everywhere. And that's covered that grade, which is wonderful. What will be really nice now, though, is just to have a frame around the whole thing, maybe a darker frame, just to put it into a box. So if we highlight everything, we don't really want, ultimately, this little blank area here, but we're going to have to do it for now. So we highlight it all, and then we go back down to our borders, and we have thick box border. Click on that, and as you can see here, it's given me a thick box all the way around it, which I like. Okay, but I've got this rogue bit here which I don't like. So what I need to do is I need it dark, just that little bit on the edge between cell F26 and G26. I also need a dark border at the bottom of this little range here. So what I'll do is I'll take this little range that I don't really actually want anything, but for now I'll add a big thick box border again. Right, and by doing that, I've got my line here, which I like, and I've got my line here, which I like, but I've got this line here, which I don't want, and one at the edge of a cell, on the left-hand edge of cell A26 as well. So what you do on this is you simply highlight the range again, and if you right-click, go back to Format Cells. We did this when we did some wrapping text on a previous lesson. You click Format Cells. I'm going to move this up so you can see it. Instead of having alignment, before we looked at alignment and wrap text, we're going to go to border. And on border, you can see here, for the range that we've chosen, there is a big dark line around the whole range. I don't want the one on the left, and I don't want the one on the bottom. So I'm just going to click that, and I'm going to click that, and that removes that formatting, that border formatting from that range. If I then press OK, just clear where it was, you can see now it's gone. And now I've got a perfect analysis with the border there, and it's set, which is great. Okay, I think that's basically most of it for lesson 5. The one thing I did want to show you, just show you how the functionality, or the mathematical functionality and analysis functionality of Excel is. It's interesting with this 50%. So we know that we've used 50% to calculate this markup here. And this 50% then flows into making the total unit price 15 because it's 10 plus 5, and then obviously the total price 20 because it's the 15, which includes the markup plus the shipping costs and so on. Now we could change that. If, let's say we wanted a markup of, I don't know, 75%, we just click on that. We add 75%, press enter, and you'll see, if you watch the numbers, everything changes because the markup has changed, the total price has changed, the shipping cost remains the same, but the total price in itself, because the total unit price it changes, as does the monthly and annual volumes, because ultimately the total price has changed. And you can play around with this. You could put 25, and it changes again, and so on. It just gives you an idea of some of the flexibility of Excel when you want to play around with different scenarios, or a lot of people call it what if analysis. What if the number was this? What if the market was 20? What if the market was 40? And so on. It's really, really useful, and that means you don't have to create the whole workbook or the spreadsheet again, the analysis again. You just change one number and it plays around with different ideas. Okay, that is it. We're going to move on to lesson 6 now. Lesson 6 is all about creating some basic charts around this data. Obviously, in the meantime, if you do like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and press the alert button for new videos. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks very much, and goodbye.